Okay, good morning class. So today we're looking at graphs, linear graphs. So now we're looking at this is our lesson 2, for example, for exercise, which is one exercise, which is on page 77. Okay. So today we're going to finding the equations from a table, and it's on page 68. We're reading from page 68. So at this point we have determined the At this point we have determined equations from graphs, given 2 points on the graph. Not so. Now, if you're given a table, okay, a table that values represents a few coordinates on the graph. Remember, every point in coordinate form on the graph satisfies the equation of the graph. Method 1. From the table, determine the relationship between x and y values, namely m, which is also known as what? Your gradient, also known as your slope, also known as your inclinations, all the same thing. The gradient is delta y over delta x, or change in y over change in x. So this is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Not so? If we go y1 minus y2, it must be over x1 minus x2. If I go ya minus yb, it must be xa minus x1. If I say yp minus yq must be over xp minus xq. Okay? y4 minus y3 is the same over x4 minus x3. y6 minus y5 over x6 minus x5. You could have had y6 minus y1 over. If it's y6 minus y1, it will be over x6 minus x1. Okay? Number 2, substitute any point coordinates into the form y is equal to mx plus c. Calculate. So let's look at this method here. Okay, so what we do is, if we are given a table to determine the equation of a line, okay, so we can choose any set of points. Okay, but we choose 2. So I'm going to show you 2 ways I'm going to do it. So in the first case, I'm going to choose negative 3 and negative 9. I'm going to choose 1 and negative 4. Okay. So the coordinates is negative 3 and negative 9. Remember, that's an x and a y. And 1 and negative 4. So if we determine the equation of a straight line, what's the standard form of straight line? Y equals mx plus c. How do we calculate m? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If this is x1, this will be y1. If that's x2, this will be y2. You guys understand? Is there any confusion there? No confusion, eh? So let's go with the gradient. This gradient is going to be y2, which is negative 1 minus negative 9, over 1 minus negative 3. Okay. You can put this in your calculator, but it will be negative 1 plus 9 over 1 plus 3. What's negative 1 plus 9? Sorry? 8 over 4, which is? This now goes at the bottom, né? So what do I have now? Y equals 2x plus. So what do we still need to solve here? C. So what do? I substitute any of these 2 points into the equation. Okay? So let's substitute 1 and minus 1. Knowing that's an x and a. So what we have? Negative 1 is equal to 2 times 1 plus. What's 2 times 1? 2. To get over becomes negative 2. So it's negative 1 minus 2 is equal to c. So c is equal to negative 3. So it's my equation. Y is equal to 2x minus. You guys understand? See any confusion? Isn't it right here? Y is equal to 2x minus 3. What if I use a different set of points? Use a different set of points. Let's go with this one here and that one there. Those two sets. Okay? So what is the first coordinate? Negative 2 and negative 7 and negative 1 and negative 5. This is the x and a 1. So this x or 2y2, this will be x1, y1. What's the standard form of a straight line? Y is equal to mx plus c. How do you calculate m? y2 minus y1 over h2 minus h1. So it's going to be minus 7 minus 5 over minus 2 minus negative 1. So you can put this in the calculator as, or you could have said negative 2 over negative 1, which is going to give you 2. But say we didn't know that. So you go negative 7 minus negative 1. There is no reason for you to get this wrong, okay? Gives you an answer. Okay. So what's my equation reading now? Y equals 2x plus c. Not so. So to calculate here, substitute the point on this graph. So we substitute negative 1 and negative 5. And remembering this is an x and a y. So negative 5 is equal to 2 times negative 1 plus c. So now gives us what? Negative 2, not so. We take negative 2 over the equal sign becomes plus 2. Which now implies that therefore c is equal to negative 3. So y is equal to 2x. She's the same. So what do you think if I had chosen negative 1 and negative 5 and 3 and 3? Will also be the same. You understand? So as long as these coordinates is following a pattern where it conforms to the straight line, the equation of the straight line, it will give you the same answer. Okay? Also what we can confirm here, just look here. What happens if I substitute 3 into this equation? 2 times 3 is 6, minus 3 is 3. What do I substitute 2 in? What's 2 times 2? Minus 3? 1. Can you see that? So which means to say if I put the x in, I will get the y out. What would happen if I substitute the y in? Let's go with 5. So it's going to be minus 5 is equal to 2x minus 3. So you get over the equal sign, so minus 5 plus 3x is equal to 2x. So 2 is equal to 2x. Divided by 2, x equal to 1. Negative 1, sorry. So which means to say, if I put the y in, I will get the x out. If I put the x in, I get the y. You guys understand? Any confusion? Equation 2. Determine the equation of the line through the following points. Equation. Example 2. So what do? I choose any two values, any two coordinates. No? Let's choose. Let's go with negative 2 and 7. Choose another one. Negative 2 and negative 5. Negative 5 and 7. What? What's wrong with you? Okay. So, we're going to go with negative 2 and 7. And 2 and negative 5. So, we make this x1, y1. This will be x2, y2. So, how do we work out the gradient? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. What's the value of y2? So it's negative 5 minus 7 over 2 minus negative 2. Okay. Which gives you negative 12 over 4. Which is negative 3. Again, people, if you can't work with integers, punch that in your calculator. You'll see you should get the same answer. So you say negative 5 minus 7 over 2 minus negative 2. It's a foolproof method, no? Any fool should get it right. Okay, you guys are not fools. Okay? Right, so what do we say now? Y is equal to negative 3x plus. I know C is going to be 1, I can put it on the table. But okay, so let's say we didn't know that. So what we do is substitute either or. No? You substitute any one of the two. Let's go with 2n minus 5. Remembering this is an x and a y. So what do we have now? Negative 5 is equal to negative 3 times 2 plus c. What's negative 3 times 2? Negative 6. You take negative 6 over, it becomes? So negative 5 plus 6 is c. This now implies that c is equal to 1. So y is equal to minus 3x plus. Okay. You guys understand? Let's choose other 2 points. What was the equation? Y is equal to 3x. Okay. People, do we have to work it out twice in the exam? No, once is fine. Okay, let's choose the 2 extreme points. That one and this one. So the 1 point is negative 3 and 10. And 3 and minus 8. If I made this x1, y1, then this would be x2, y2. Alright. So to work out the gradient, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what's the y2 value? 10 minus negative 8 over negative 3 minus 3. There's going to be positive 8, so it's 18 over negative 6, which is negative 3. Again, you can put this in a calculator. So what's my equation reading now? Y is equal to negative 3x plus 6. So now we're going to substitute one of the 2 points. So we have 3 and minus 8. Remembering this is a x and a y. So where we see a y, we put a negative 8. So negative 8 is equal to negative 3 times 3 plus c. What's negative 3 times 3? Negative 9. We take it over. So now we'll give you, therefore c is equal to negative 8 plus 9, which is 1. So my equation, therefore y is equal to negative 3x plus 1. You see, it's the same. If we chose any values, people, any ordered pairs here, and we work it out, we'll see that we get the, okay, they have added to the same thing. If I chose that one and this one, you should have gotten the same, provided you make no mistake. Okay, you guys understand? And again, what if I substitute 0 in here? What do I get? Negative 3 times 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. What do I do if I substitute 1 in there? Negative 3 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Can you see? What will happen if I sub 4 in? Into the y. Then it's going to be 4 is equal to minus 3x plus 1. Take that over, becomes 3 is equal to minus 3x. X is equal to minus 1. Which confirms that value. You guys understand? Is there any confusion? So I could have extended this and say, okay, if we say, okay, here we have another 2 points on the graph. Okay, let's say this is 12 and this is 29, negative 29. Okay, and I put the A here and the B there. Now I ask you to solve the values of A and B. Solve the values for A and B. That was the question now, huh? This is not the question, but I'm just making it part of it. So how do I solve for B? Well, what? Oh, let's go with A first. What is this form here? What is this coordinate here? 12 and 8. What's the equation of this line here? Y is equal to negative 3x plus. So what we do is we substitute 12 and 8 into y is equal to minus 3x plus 1. And remember, if I substitute my x in, I'm going to get my y out. Can you see that, people? And here, if I substitute my y in, I must get my x out. You see that? And in this case, y is A. In this case, x is B. Okay. So by substituting, this is an x and a y. So with the substitution, what do I get? A is equal to negative 3 times 12 plus 1. What's negative 3 times 12? Negative 36. And negative 36 plus 1? Negative 30. And there's your A value. Easy, no? Let's look at the other one. So here, what is this coordinate here? Pn negative 29. So we will substitute Pn negative 29 into the equation of the straight line, which is y is equal to negative 3x plus 1. Remembering this is a x and a y. So do the substitution, what do we get? Negative 29 Pumla, you okay? Equals negative 3 times P plus 1. Take that over the equal sign. What do we get? Negative 29 minus 1 is negative 30 is equal to minus 3b. Divide by negative 3 both sides. So b is equal to? You guys understand? Is there any confusion? Okay. So determining the equation from the graph. So we said y is equal to mx plus c. Method 1, find the c value, namely the y-intercept. Determine whether m is positive or negative. Find m by drawing the right angle triangle using y-intercept and x-intercept. This is another way of doing it. Okay? We just follow the way that I just done it. Okay? Why? Because that way works all the time. Okay? You know, sometimes we are not given the graph. Okay? Sometimes you're not given the y-intercept either. Okay? So I apply a method that can be used in all times. But if you feel you want to apply that method, no problem. I'm going to show you how they actually do the method. So it is simple, but as I said, you won't be able to apply it all the time. Okay, so it says here, which page are we on now? We're on page 69. Am I talking too much today? Yes? Okay. No? 69. Okay. So what you do is you say, okay, what is the y-intercept here? 2. So your c value is 2. Can you see that, people? Is this gradient positive or negative? Positive, because it's increasing. Not so. Your delta y, your change in y here is what? What is this length from 0 to this point? 2. And you change in x? 4. So it's going to be 2 over 4, which is? What's my equation? Y is equal to r of x plus? Easy. Not so? But could we have applied that on the table? Could we have applied that here? No. Okay, otherwise we still needed to draw the graph and all of those things. Okay. So it's a nice one to understand how to do. But again, you won't be using it can't be using it all the time. Okay? So let's look at your C value. What's your C value here? 3. What about the gradient? Is the gradient positive or negative? Negative. Why? Decreasing. So delta y over delta x, change in y over change in x, is going to be negative. There's your right angle that you're talking about, the right angle triangle. What's this length here? 3. And this length? 2. So it's going to be 3 over 2. What's my equation? Y is equal to negative 3 over 2x plus. Okay. Let's look at the next one. What's your C value here? Negative 4. The gradient? Positive or negative? Positive. So change in y is 4. Change in x? 4. Which is 1. My equation is y is equal to 1x minus 4. Although that is negative 4 here, can you see? But this length is 4 and that length is 4. You see that, people? You all understand? You don't go with the negative thing. You're going to go with the change in y, so it must be a positive value. Okay. Look at what number 4 has in store for us. Alright, so what is your y-intercept here? Or your C value? Negative 3. Your gradient is positive or negative? Positive. And you conclude your right angle triangle there. So what's this length here? 3 over x is 4. Your rise in the call this rise and run. Okay. No, I drew it in the previous graph there. This is the correct way of doing it. Okay? So the equation is y is equal to mx plus c. But we know that the gradient is 3 over 4 x minus. Okay, you guys understand? We've got the next view. Okay, so what's your C value for this graph? Huh? Negative 3. The gradient, is this gradient positive or negative? Negative. Okay? Here's your 90 degrees. So what's your rise? The length of this here will be 3. We're not talking about negatives and positives. Okay? The length of this line is 3. What's the length of this line? 2. Okay? So your delta y with delta x is going to be 3 over 2. So what's the equation? Y is equal to negative 3 over 2x plus negative 3, which is simply negative 3. Okay? Simple, huh? Easy. This is again a right angle here. Here they gave you the rise and the run on a separate part of the graph. You see that? So what's your C value here? 1. Your gradient is a gradient positive or negative? Positive, as this line is increasing, it's lying to the right. So this is your delta y, people, and that's your delta x. Your gradient is delta y with delta x. So in this case, it's going to be 1 over 3. So what's my equation? Y is equal to a third x plus 1. Okay. So any confusion, people? So you can apply this method, no, if you like. If you got the information that is required as well. People, this is actually going through that origin, okay? It's going through that. So what's your C value if it goes through here? If it's 45 degrees, is this gradient positive or negative? It's decreasing. It's negative. So is it 45 degrees and I conclude a right angle triangle, if that's 45, and that is also 45. So this is what you call an isosceles triangle. So that length and that length will always be the same. Alright, so delta y with delta x is going to be 1 over 1, which is negative 1. My equation is y is equal to minus x. Plus 0, which is minus x. Okay. Look at the next one. What's your C value here? Negative 3. The gradient positive or negative? Positive. There is again that 45 degrees. So this is what type of triangle being formed here? A isosceles right angle triangle, so it's 1 and 1. If this is a 2, it will be 2 and 2. 12 and 12, 120, 120. Not so? But 120 over 120 is 1. Always be 1. For an inclination angle of 45 degrees. So what's my equation? Y is equal to 1x minus 3. Or y is equal to x minus 3. Okay. Is there any confusion here? Not yet. Yes.
Number 7, if the 45 degrees is on like either side and there's no other number, will it always be 0?
No. You see that they mean to have drawn it through the 0, but they just probably couldn't get it right. Okay? Or they have changed something else and the thing moved down. Okay? But if there was any other C value, then it would have been on this graph. You understand? Because there's no other point, I assume that they were trying to get that going through the origin. Okay. Anything else? Number 9. Number 9. So what you see value here? Negative 2. What is this angle here? These are angles on a straight line, which makes the size of this angle what? 45 degrees. Can you see that? And what was the gradient earlier on when it was 45 degrees? Huh? Okay, is this gradient positive or negative? Negative. What's my equation? Y is equal to negative x minus. Okay. You guys understand? That girl still among the living? Behind Cornelius? What's your name? Sorry? What's her name? Jemima. My girl. I was wondering where you've been. Right. People, for the next one, what's your C value here? Are you boring today, Jemima? Why are you sleeping? You know all this one? Right, you'll see in the test. Right. People, what's your C value? 0. What's your gradient? Positive or negative? Negative. Why? Because it's decreasing, it's lying to the left. What's your rise? 3. Your run? 1. You delta y with delta x. So that's going to give you an answer of negative 3. My equation is y is equal to negative 3x plus 0, which is negative 3. Can you see it's going through there? That is why they didn't give you any other one. Understand? Yes? Sorry? Negative 1 and 3. Yeah? Yeah? Let's see. She's asking if there's going to be the same answer. But remember, at this point we have dealt with a lot of equations or straight lines, and then we work with 2 points. So the 1 point is negative 1 and 3, and this the origin is 0 and 0, of course. There's x1, y1, x2, y2. So the gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We tend to write the formula down all the time. So it's going to be 0 minus 3 over 0 minus minus 1, which is minus 3. And then y is equal to minus 3x plus c. Now we can substitute either the origin or negative 1 and 3. That's a x and a y. So 3 is equal to negative 1 times, sorry, negative 3 times 1, negative 1 plus c. What is negative 3 times negative 1? It's 3. So c is 0. Equation y is equal to, your gradient is negative 3x plus 0, which is negative 3x. You see, it's the same thing. It is a shorter method. But again, we must be able to have that information to extract it in that case. Okay? Any other confusion? See, when we do examples before the notes, you people sleep during the notes. Right. People, number 11. Would we have a gradient here? No, it's parallel to the x-axis. So what's the equation here? Y is equal to 3. You have a gradient here? No, it's an undefined gradient. No? There's no gradient. We give it a no gradient. But what's the equation here? X is equal to -4. Okay, that is simple. We're on page 70 now. Okay. So write this one down. We are told that we are given more examples on page 70. Number 1. 3 and -2 lies on the graph of y is equal to 4x plus k. Determine k. So write that graph down, that equation down with me. Then sum down. I'll just pause the video at this point. Okay, we'll do this tomorrow. The full lesson can be found in the description box below.